of you who have been here before, you kind of know the drill. This is 1 Million Cups. We have 2 startups from the community up here presenting what they're building here in Tampa Bay. And then it's your turn to ask questions of them, provide advice to them, make connections with them, and dig deep in your mental Rolodexes to think about who you know that could help their business grow here. I would like to do my long list of thank yous. First of all, to my co-organizers, Marianne, Richard, Danielle, JJ, and Chris hiding in a chair. I would also like to thank the people who actually make this run, our wonderful video technicians, Carly, who produces the incredible email you guys get every week. If you're not getting that email, there's a sign-in sheet over by the door. We only use that to send you 2 emails a week, one to tell you who is speaking, the other to tell you who spoke. It's very simple. Most importantly, though, I would like to thank our sponsor, Kawa Coffee. The reason many of you are probably here, you didn't even know this was a startup event. They just went to Williams Park and said, hey, there's free coffee here. Many of you came down. Thank you for that. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce my first speaker this morning. You guys probably know him because he's always in the audience, always asking insightful questions. But let's hear about his company today, Dan. Can we hear Mike?
So, at Convertant, what we do is concentrate on driving revenue. Okay? We do this by curating, nurturing, and engaging with people coming to your website and turning them into delighted paying customers. So Convertant is the new marketing trend that very few people are talking about. Creating new paths to revenue with what we're calling active engagement customer marketing. So, in a few short months, for our clients that we're serving, we've created over $12 million in incremental revenue. We've talked with over 172,000 website visitors and created over almost 20 million active business intelligence findings for our customers. So we grow revenue. We do this by optimizing conversion rates and also adding efficiencies and effectiveness to advertising spend and budget. So another new phrase that we've come up with that you'll probably hopefully be hearing more about is revenue intelligence. So some of the way the track record of what the results are, and we'd like to talk about this conservatively, but some of the results are much higher. So on average, we increase sales by 200% for our customers. Our conversion rates go up to 65% with the people that we engage with on websites. And the return on investment is over 300%. So Convertant is an active engagement marketing system. The way that we came up with this is a combination of 3 different softwares. The first one was founded by Tom Lorda, our co-founder out of Denver, Colorado, who's a professor at University of Colorado. I think some people challenged him at one point in time to go out and actually practice what he was preaching. So he went to work for a rent-a-CEO company for a short time, in which case he was plopped into a business for basically 1 week. He had to produce results right away and change the business to create positive change. And he was doing this for a while, and then he was finding out, ran across a business that was helping was a live chat business. And at that point in time, after he helped them for a week, he retired from that job, went back to the University of Colorado, and started working on that because he really felt like this is the fastest way to increase revenue is to engage people on websites and create human-to-human contact and conversations with them by building trust, rapport, and relationships. So what is the one thing that you don't have? Your store window is basically becoming your website. and you can never greet anybody. You never get to talk to them. What was one of the cultural benefits of public supermarkets? Was that, anybody know?
Face-to-face. Face-to-face interaction.
Right. George and Charlie Jenkins talked to every customer when they came to the store. They knew everybody. They knew all of their employees. So that is a very difficult thing to do in today's business environment with the path to purchase being spread out over so many different mediums. So an example is 82% of the path to purchase the car is done in a digital space before somebody walks into a dealership. So Tom and Gordon started with taking the chat service, making an engagement specialist, and also had the software to measure the language software, to measure it and build business intelligence from it, from all of the chat and SMS activity. Our second co-founder came up with this, and this is basically JavaScript that goes on a website header, and after somebody goes to your website, we see everything they do afterwards. So Google Analytics will tell you where people came from, how long they're on their pages, you know, what they're looking at. When they leave, they're gone. We know where they're at. We see everything they did, all right? Kind of scary, but it's good data because people like to be doted on when they shop. 49% of people in a recent AMA study said they expect the Internet of Things to enable shopping benefits. So that's what we were doing. Also, Dave was, just on his background, he was a lead engineer on Outlook for Microsoft, worked there for 12 years, and this was a result of a special project he did for Bill Gates. Our third software, it's kind of neat. How many people watched Jeopardy? How many people saw the game where the computer beat the two champions? Okay. Watson, the computer machine learning algorithms, were written by our CTO, Steve Drzonski, who started the Watson project at IBM and moved on, and now he's doing that for us. So my daughter went away to University of Florida, and she came back and said, "So Dad, what are you doing now?" I said, well, easiest way for me to explain this thing, she's a Harry Potter fan, is it's called divinity. So anybody know what divinity is? Being able to see ahead. So what we do is we're able to look at the traffic, the engagement, and then make suggestions on the advertising that sees ahead to project a 30 to 60-day advertising plan, as well as increasing the conversions. So really it's a case of stop looking behind you and driving by looking in your rear view mirror and start looking ahead. And so we are active customer engagement sales leaders. All right, Sean.
So how exactly does it work? I was a little confused. I'm not a technical guy. I don't understand. So what am I getting as the customers? What's my printout? What am I getting?
Okay, well it varies. We have a number of different reports. We put the JavaScript on your header. We put a chat widget, and we develop a customer information sheet. So we start engaging people when they come to your website. The degree of engagement is determined on the behavior patterns of the people that our engagement specialists are talking to. So one of the things that we're able to do is take the textual conversation, because it's all done through SMS, and apply the machine learning algorithms to it to determine people's behavior types. So that's the first thing that happens, is we start building that business intelligence for behavior types. And then going back to answer the rest of your question, websites that get, let's say, 30,000 visitors a month or more, we have them up to 500,000 visitors per week. They get a real-time look at everything that's happening in their marketing and sales funnel. So at any point in time, they can look at it and say, there's 13,000 people at awareness, there's 20,000 people at desire, there's 5,000 people at intent, and there's 3,000 ready to convert. And we also know basically a pretty good guess at what their market basket value is, and what the content needs to be delivered to them to get them to move to the next step. Go ahead.
Well, mine's kind of the same thing. If you talk about algorithms with machine, but there are actual real people that they're conversing with.
Yes, real people.
So, and obviously, you have many different types of businesses that are here. Do they need to, these real people, air quotes, these real people,
Yep.
are they, do they have to learn that other person, your client's business? I mean, what kind of questions are they, I mean, they're there, but if someone says, I need to know about this, I mean, what
Okay,
are they
did
doing?
everybody hear George's question? What do the engagement specialists, what are they trained to do? They're trained to build trust, rapport, and a relationship. Okay? To recognize people's wants and needs, to answer their questions, and to guide them through your website. Okay? The things that come through with all that textual data is things about ways to adjust your website, questions that are being asked, what they're looking for, and also the one thing that most people will not give is their personal information. So I think how many people have an idea of how many people fill out a form on a website? When you click on something and say, what's your name, address? Yeah. What's the percentage? Yes? Pretty close. It's about 8%. About 8% of people will fill out a form once they see it on the website. Okay? Through the course of this engagement conversation, the engagement specialist is basically business agnostic. They're there to make people feel comfortable. And if somebody gives them their name or their email address or their phone number, it's probably because they're ready to convert. All right? Which also, once they give that personal information, then it enables us to track them even closer.
So it's like a sales team for your website?
Absolutely. Yes. Probably it's not a sales team, because what we do is we integrate back into a CRM product or a phone call or an email back to the business, to the sales department. So what we're doing is we're managing the marketing sales funnel. Yeah.
Yes, so the engagement specialist, how do they actually communicate with the customer? Can you actually give me an example, walk through, say I'm a customer that comes to the website, how does this happen? Is it a pop-up window or?
Yes,
Or
exactly.
my phone or?
It's a chat widget,
Okay,
wherever you
chat.
decide to put it on your website. And depending on what the people are doing, and if they've been there before, we kind of recognize maybe who they are. And if they're stumbling or looking around for things they can't find, then we sometimes engage them and sometimes sit in the background, depending on, basically what we feel their behavior pattern is.
So if they've been on a page for, say, up to a long time, then this window will pop up and say, hey, can I help you with something?
Right, absolutely. And we started, just to give you an example, one of the first customers we had was Ronald McDonald Health Charities, where people weren't selling anything. They were looking for information on, they're coming to town, they don't know if they have a hotel room, they don't know if they're getting food, but they're in a very emotional charged state. And we were there to help them through that. So,
If it's 8% on a conversion for someone putting it into the form, what's the percentage of the people that actually respond to the engager?
so his question was how many people engage with our engagement specialists. Is we average about 35% of website visitors. I know that 65% of those we actually can convert. Let's go to the other side of the room here. Questions over here? Let's go with you.
With your chat widget, can it only go to one of your people that responds, or can it go to, like, for example, if I run a small business, can it go to me? Can I actually interact with that person?
I'm not sure I
I mean,
understand.
when someone opens up the chat widget, they ask a question, they go to your, I forget what you call them, but they go to your guy, your engagement specialist. Can it go to me instead, or an employee of the company more specifically than someone that works for you as an engagement
We
specialist?
can, but we prefer to use our engagement specialists because they're highly changed in behavior analytics. Most of them are postgraduate students in universities that have a marketing or business undergraduate degree and are working on furthering their education in that specific area. So most of the time, we feel like our people are going to do a better job than you can, because you're actually sometimes trying to sell things to them. We're not there to try to sell anything to them, all right? Building trust, rapport, and relationship.
Gotcha.
How many are there in your office?
How many engagement specialists?
Yeah, and where are they? You said they didn't have, if you have a website that is 500,000 a week, that seems to be a tremendous amount of people sitting around waiting.
They're spread throughout the country. Tom Warda, our co-founder, he's entirely responsible for operations. He's the chief operation officer of our company, and he recruits on a continuous basis based on websites that we're monitoring. And so the engagement specialists are, like I said, postgraduate students, most of them in the United States. Pardon? To give you an example, we did 30 websites for DirecTV, and we hired 271 people for it.
Wow. So you hired specifically for the
Engagement
client-
specialists.
Those engagement specialists are hired specifically for the clients that you have.
Yes. So we hire them, we train, make sure they're trained, and they change on a continuous basis depending on what type of business intelligence we're getting on how to communicate with people. So a quick example would be, we were doing an introduction of a Xbox 360 game for the holidays. And the first week we had 504,000 website visitors. And in there, the path to purchase was about 90 minutes from first click to purchase. And the people that were purchasing in that 90 minutes went to 6 to 7 different websites after they came in. And so the engagement specialists early on, the second day, we started just giving the people that were coming in those 6 to 7 websites that the people were going to that were purchasing. So we're just saying, hey, we're going to speed your path to purchase up, we'll make things easy for you. Everybody that's purchased the game so far in the last 2 days went to these 6 to 7 different websites. Here they are. Go have fun, see you in a second. You know, and then they come back. Good.
Where are you headquartered in you recruit all of them?
We're headquartered in Littleton, Colorado, or Centennial, Colorado, I'm sorry. Tom Warda teaches at University of Colorado and University of Denver, and he's the co-founder. The other co-founder, Dave Dumler, is in Seattle. So he was working at Microsoft. He lives there with his family in Seattle, and Steve Drzonski's in California. I'm here. We have 2 other partners. Another one is in Seminole, and another one is in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I was wondering, what exactly is the target audience for this?
Converted.
What's your target audience, more specifically? Who's really this content for? Because I figure the small mom and pop's coffee shop that has their new website, passes through ID.
Okay, so the question is, who is our target customer? And our target customer is certainly somebody that will benefit from our business. So we actually can go through a quick assessment. Generally, if your business, if your average customer revenue per year is over $500 per customer per year. So if you're charging $30 a month on a subscription, that's over $500. That's a possibility, okay? Or I don't know the math on it. If you're getting at least 2,000 website visitors per month, and if you want to do it and you have $1,000, item to sell, we've done that where we start out pretty easy and then we just go through and we optimize the website. We have SEO, SEM partners like Yodel that will go in and drive more traffic to you, and then we kind of filter that. So we had one small business was startup. He had no business. And we did that. We drove 20,000 visitors to his website the first month. He closed $40,000 in sales from people that we turned over. And we found out also that about half of his visitors through double-click were bots. So we didn't want to market to them at all. Yeah.
So it sounds like a very labor-intensive process. So what is your cost per engagement for your client? What does it average work out to?
Cost per engagement, the only people that we charge an engagement fee for are nonprofits, because we really don't sell anything there. We just help people, and we charge $5 per engagement, okay? When somebody gets to the point where we call it a new revenue opportunity, or NRO, is our acronym for that, where we actually will take the people's contact information that we've gotten and put it into a CRM product for the sales department to follow up with, we charge $50 for that.
So do you, so how many, now that you know the cost per engagement, what is your conversion ratio per 100 engagements? Say,
For our engagements, we convert 65% of them to conversions. Okay? And just since Pat asked a little bit about the cost, if there's any other questions on that, we have a $1,500 startup fee. We charge $500 per month to monitor your website 24/7. Okay? And then it's $50 per engagement or per NRO. So that's why the return on investment is so high. So after your $1,500 startup fee, the other stuff gets billed after 30 days. So most of the time, like the guy we started his business up in Colorado, he made $40,000 before we even gave him a bill. I think his bill was like $3,000. So it was a pretty good payoff for him.
How do you define an engagement? When someone comes to my website, you intervene or suggest a problem, is that the engagement? And if you take a 5-minute hiatus and come back again, is that another engagement? How does that work?
That would be a hiatus with another engagement. We probably would count that as one engagement from one person. And really, unless it's a nonprofit, that's the way we build nonprofits. Other businesses, we don't charge for engagements. We're just there to help. And actually, once your website gets over like 5,000 to 7,000 visitors per month, we don't do a pay for performance model anymore. We'll just look at what it costs us and how we're increasing your business, and then we'd go to a flat rate from there. Chris?
I think your presentation is missing the mark on, you mentioned just briefly, oh, we got a guy from Apple and a guy who made lots of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in the room I've already experienced, like they've seen chat windows pop up on websites when they need more help, right? And the developer people know they can cut and paste and put a chat widget or better analytics into their site. So I think your story really needs to be that, okay, that's the stuff that's out there already. It's all self-service. People can drag and drop it, and it can go right to the founders and the people who work with the company. And like that's what engagement looks like today. But we have these really bright people with these awesome backgrounds that came in and said, we need to take that technology, but marry it with behavior, purchasing behavior, and all that, put it together. And I think that whole, like that's the product, right? It's marrying the technologies that have been out there, like chat and analytics, with understanding how people buy and getting data on them, and then converting, and then instead of saying like, hey, 8% of people might fill out a form if you don't engage them, but converting 65% of people for $50, do the math, if they were to have this many visitors and engage 10% of them, and convert 65 of those 10% that they chatted with, then a business's revenue would on average jump from here to here. Like I think that the focus on what exists there now, give these awesome founders that have this idea, and this is what it looks like to a business, this is how much we charge, and here's our plan for, okay, now here's where we would have to scale it. I think that should be,
great
my
observation.
opinion, that would be like the perfect story.
The first thing we encountered with this is, how do we address the elephant in the room, okay? So you can go out and buy a chat widget to put on your website for $29 a month or less, and then you'll get so many chats, and then they charge you from there, okay? And you can manage it yourself, okay? It's the same thing with social media. You can do that yourself as well. So I guess the way to look at this is we could take you to Home Depot and get you a bunch of tools. We can get you a saw, a hammer, some building materials, and we can ask you to go out and build a house. And how is that house going to look when you're done, compared to people that do that all the time, and that's the profession. So I guess for a lot of people that may be really smart, especially in startups, that people that are starting technical things up think that right away they can do everything because they're really good. But the bottom line is that they're not as good as our engagement specialists. And then we also have this data that's looking at where the people are at in this path to purchase. And so they won't know after somebody's opted in and talked to them and they're shopping for a Rolex watch. So the guy that sells Rolex watches in Manhattan knows that somebody comes in and buys, looks at that watch and tries it on and leaves the store 5 to 6 times before they actually buy it. But that represents only about 20% of the path to purchase. So what we're able to do is know when that person, for instance, is driving down the Garden State Parkway on their way home from work, and Upfront Media, which used to be CBS Media, can change a digital sign and start messaging that person on their way home, because we know where they're at and what they're looking for, and what content to deliver to them as well, because of that engagement with the other tools that we have.
Dan, what do you do with the other data that you're collecting about the clients? Like I'm assuming through the process you're collecting a lot of analytics about the customers, people's buying habits. What are you doing with that?
Well, that goes into the database. So what we need is about 2,000 to 3,000 website visitors to build a reliable database, so that the machine learning algorithms that project where people are at in their path to purchase and where they're going to go is accurate. So we're at about 87% reliability, and for instance, there will be about 20, like an example, there could be 3,000 people at the desire stage, and to get them to move to intent, there could be 27 to 30 different contents to be delivered. Some will be emails, some will be outdoor advertising, some will be, a white paper, a webinar, TV ads, if you can get to people specifically, which we should be able to do pretty soon in their home, by their machine numbers and everything as well. So that's what that data is able to do. Did I answer that question?
Yes, but I was thinking more along the lines, are you using that data to agencies? What are you doing with that?
If people opt in and they give us their personal information, or if they do it through a loyalty program with a retailer, then we can actually market directly to them. But for the most part, there are groups of people because of the privacy, maintaining the privacy. So we can say these 500 people need to be have this content delivered to them. But an example would be like Nordstrom's knows how many shoes you like on Pinterest before you come in the stores, because they have beacons that are tracking you when you come in the store. And so I guess they really like to dote on you, so they want to put those shoes on display when they see you show up in the parking lot. So that's another application of how it's used. Danielle.
You have been here since day one, so I know you're ready for this question, but
Absolutely.
What can the community do for you?
Well, it's kind of what we look at as our buying persona. Our buyer persona of our product is somebody who is an early adopter or a business whose culture is an early adopter. So really the people that are going to jump the chasm and go out and try something new. So really finding those individuals and finding those businesses, we're kind of going through that process. So finding people that want to try it and move forward. So I think one of the biggest potential partners for us would be the intermediaries, agencies that manage media budgets, because we save anywhere from 7 to 30% in media spend based on what we know. Answer Henry Wanamaker's 100-year-old question. I know 50% of my advertising works, I just don't know which 50%. Well, we know which 50% won't work. So connecting with those people would be very helpful. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. So, as you know, I come up here and tell you guys about a lot of the events that are coming up over the next couple weeks. If you want any information on any specifically, come see me or sign up for our newsletter that's in the corner of the room over there. I am going to highlight a couple of them. So you have on Friday the Small Business and Entrepreneurial Forum in Tampa at the Marriott Waterside Hotel. Eris actually has a couple free tickets there in the back if you want to raise your hand, Eris. So if anyone is interested, it's 8 to 5, great event. go see Eris. And then also, I'm going to bring up Jessica from USF over here to tell you guys very quickly about Innovation Overnight.
Real quick, Murray, that's a personal development day, not a business development, but you will get the skills you'll need to build a business. And then drop it.
All right, so my name is Jessica Chin. I manage the internship program for the College of Business at USF in St. Petersburg. I am also one of the co-creators of an event called Innovation Overnight. So you ask, what is Innovation Overnight? Innovation Overnight is a design-a-thon where students work on a problem that our corporate sponsors are pitching to them. It's a triple bottom line themed problem. They work in teams of 5 and they go through the design thinking process, which is going to be explore, ideate, build, and test. They build a prototype. They have 3 minutes in front of a panel and they pitch. So I'm basically just here to let you know that it's going on. The pitches are open to the public, which is going to be Saturday, April 11th. It goes from 9 o'clock until 11. So if you want to come and hear students pitch, come out and support. It's at USF in St. Pete in the ballroom.
What date and time was that again?
April 11th, and it goes from 9 to 11. If you just want to Google Innovation Overnight, all the information is on the site.
And we'll have a link to it as well on our newsletter that will give you more information. Awesome, thanks. Okay, before the next presenter comes up, we do have a couple seats. If you guys standing want to come sit down up here in front, there are some seats available. But please give a warm round of applause to Chris coming up to tell you guys about CMED.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Helios. I am the CEO of CMED Innovations LLC. I'm also the developer of Confidisc, which is the new compelling new medical device which will redefine the syringe market. Diabetes is very personal. So my focus today will be on the diabetes market. I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic for 6 years. I've been through the whole gamut of pills until finally I was forced to go on insulin. My endocrinologist said, Chris, you're an inventor, an innovator. He says, come up with something that'll benefit you and everybody that's a diabetic. So in about 6 months, we did come up with something. Confidisc was born. There are 3.2 billion diabetic syringes used in the U.S. alone. It's 3.2 billion every year. Yet, like me, diabetics are putting off taking their insulin injections because of fear. What is fear? Fear of needles, also known as melanophobia. It is a real disease. I suffer from it. Fear of needles, shaky hands, lack of confidence, lead to anxiety while injecting. Instability leads to bent needles, increased pain, and difficulties during injections. Confidisc was developed to help solve these problems. Confidisc is an innovative, patented syringe system that is simple, beneficial, and cost-effective for everyone facing daily injections. It is the perfect solution for injecting by syringe or pen, insulin or other like medications. Confidisc can be used by a patient or caregiver. It may be manufactured as an attachment product or as a single standalone syringe. Confidisc is the perfect platform for RFID, radio frequency identification device, and future technologies. Combined with a retractable design, Confidisc is truly the next generation of syringe. Our testing has shown Confidisc not only reduced pain perception, it clearly reduced injection anxiety. Doesn't the photo even make you feel a little better that it's so simple, easy to use, and there's no terrible things associated with something that's a daily chore? The user focuses on the disc, not on the needle. Bringing the disc to the skin, a proper 90-degree angle is obtained. No more worries about needle depth injection without hesitation or fear. Confidisc provides added stability in both filling the syringe and during injection. It enables use of hard-to-reach areas, providing better injection rotation. A critical requirement for diabetics, injection rotation. Confidisc market includes home health care, hospitals, clinics, government, military applications, and home veterinary use. Also has a great potential as an advertising platform for insulin companies and pharmaceutical companies. Confidisc has transportability across broad industry segments. It would have a significant market size, both domestic and worldwide, and have worldwide penetration. Expand your market with Confidisc by reaching a new customer base that has delayed or fallen off their injectable therapies. We have been granted 2 U.S. patents for 13 highly commercial claims. Confidisc is a registered trademark. Confidisc.com is a well-established website. It's clear how complicated and costly our competitors' products are compared to Confidisc. Let's take a look. Spring-loaded mechanisms, tricky things to use. A new syringe Confidisc would have tremendous benefit with little added cost. Confidisc may also be produced as an injectable aid. You can see what a large market opportunity there is for Confidisc compared to these very, very expensive other injection aids. In the $3.2 billion syringe market, by incorporating Confidisc, your syringe will become the syringe of choice. I'm Chris Hillies, and I use Confidisc every day. It has made my life a tremendous difference in my life, and I hope it can help yours. Thank you so much, and I'll be here to take the questions. For the disc alone, all one would need was approval for the disc as a pre-market approval.
Pre-market approval, but not at the end.
Not as a disc because it is considered an injection aid.
Okay.
As a syringe, would be a 510K exempt one, probably cost more.
There's a company in California you need to look up, Livongo. They got FDA approval for a Wi-Fi enabled monitor and everything else, so
right.
They would be a good partner.
Thank you so much. That's great. Yes.
What about those RFID applications? Can you talk about that?
Yes, I can. We have a RFID solution for Confidisc. It's really made for hospitals. They have pre-filled syringes where in a hospital, a syringe with an RFID chip on it, all a nurse has to do is scan it. It gives 256K of information on it. It tells you exactly what's in this little syringe, who's going to get it, what is the product, when it was manufactured, lot number, etc. It'll probably help prevent the 400,000 hospital deaths a year that occur in the United States. A great many are due to medication use.
What's the cost of manufacture, and then also what's your recommended price compared to those others?
Well, cost of manufacturer scale for this little disc would be under a penny. Price would be really up to the licensees because there's so many claims. There's RFID. There's so many things that can be incorporated as a technology disc. This syringe only has one place. It can only stick into you and deliver the drug into your body. That's all. With this disc, it has so much more potential. It's an improvement over the 1853 syringe. Yes, ma'am.
Do you see any potential for reliability with impeding the visibility of retina?
I'm sorry. Actually, no. It's actually, we don't think it's a liability. We think it's
Not a liability, but becoming a legal liability if somebody sticks it on the wrong place.
Not really, because there's 3.2 billion syringes used out there. There's 27 million diabetics, and they inject themselves every day with a retail syringe. I don't think it's really that's an issue at all, especially with Confidisc. You just press against your skin. You're at the perfect 90-degree angle. It's at a perfect needle depth. You're not taking a gigantic needle and putting it somewhere where it shouldn't belong. Yes?
Who is your target customer? Is it actually the institutions that are, handing these out to their patients, or the individual patients themselves?
Well, that's a good question. Our target customers would be the 27.5 million currently diabetics, the 86 million pre-diabetics, that are in the country right now. Doctors, hospitals, etc. Like we said, there's so many applications. Our device would fit on about 98% of the 6.5 billion syringes used in the country. That we can manufacture this in any way or form.
Yes. Just to follow up with that, is it an easier path to market for you to have these hanging up in a Walgreens or to go to whatever the company that makes insulin?
Well, it's up to the licensee with their licenses. They can sell a disc alone as a single unit in a package or whatever designation they would want. They could sell it also as a permanently attached syringe. In the third world countries, this could be permanently attached. And part of our patent has a frangible link on the barrel of the syringe. So any attempt to take the disc off for illegal drug use would break the barrel of the syringe, would make it useless. So it's a very, very powerful new anti-illegal drug syringe.
So you couldn't inject heroin with one of those?
It's virtually impossible.
What kind of in-market testing have you done? How many people have used these things? What kind of feedback have you gotten?
We've done some small clinical trials with our local endocrinologists in Massachusetts and their diabetic educators. We attended many diabetic educator classes and explained to them what the product was, and they've responded very favorable. But we have no serious clinical testing because everyone we gave a disc to never gave them back. They all use them. So we stopped.
How many do you estimate you've given out?
Approximately 100. Yes.
Have you done anything about pediatrics? Have you thought about like little kids using these, or
Well,
make it a little less scary?
Well, that was one of our main goals was to get the advice of pediatric doctors, and they thought this was so remarkable because if you did a graphic design on the face of the disc, it's virtually impossible to see the needle. You could license any kind of logos, Spider-Man, Superman on it, and we've already had positive results from a large children's hospital in Boston. Yes?
So I'm a little confused as to the functionality of this. What's better about this than if I just like poke a needle through a paper plate?
What's better about this? Well, because a great many patients suffer from melanophobia, fear of needles.
Yeah.
You can go into a doctor's office and get a shot. I can day after day. But when you're faced with diabetes and you have to stab yourself every day, 365 days a year, it becomes very daunting. What this does is hide the needle. Your mind focuses on the disc. You bring it to your skin. That's the best way I can explain it to you. Our testing shows that your eyes and your mind see the disc as not a dangerous device. It's the best way I can put it.
Can these be sanitized for reuse or recycled in any way?
Depending on the licensee, you can make this so if you put this in a dishwasher or in water over 110 degrees, it would work, or you can make it reusable. Depends on how a licensee wants to market. Yes, sir.
You keep using the word licensee. It sounds like you've already made a decision to go to market through other people. You don't have a desire.
Our total function for CMED Innovations is development of new products, and we wish to just have a qualified licensee, manufacturer, and a distributor to license our products. We do not wish to manufacture ourselves. Yes, ma'am.
Made out of cement?
Pardon?
The material, what kind of material is it made out of?
Well, this here is made out of polypropylene. You can make this out of virtually anything hospital grade. Acrylics, you can make it out of copolymer, you can do it out of nylon, rayon, any kind of material the licensee wishes to make it out of.
Sir, when you say licensee, I'm a little confused. I mean, what do you mean by
A licensee would be a company which would license our patents from us. And they would market it, they would manufacture and market it. Possibly a large syringe company or pharmaceutical.
So you have a vetting process in place?
Well, what we do is we have our contact information on our website, and depending on the scale of your company and what your financial strengths are, then we'd love to have a conversation with you about licensing.
So Chris, I know you're just getting started in the marketing of the product and the searching for licenses and things like that. But if syringe manufacturers, do they sell these things openly in Walmart or Kmart or something where you can buy syringes and they could integrate your
Yes,
sell that?
these are quite available, quite easily adaptable to most syringes, 1cc syringes that are on the market today. Our discs fit on all Walmart syringes, all BD syringes, and a few other large company syringes. We can manufacture the hub to fit any hub of any syringe, depending on which company wants it made.
And the final part to that is you don't have to go through FDA testing or anything?
No. No testing. Yes, sir.
Is this reusable?
You can make it reusable. It just, this is, of course, the side we don't need it. It slips nicely on the top of the hub. You just press it against the skin. You can take it off, put it on your new syringe.
So it costs you a penny, I don't know what it gets sold for. If I buy one of these for a quarter, I mean, how long could I use it?
Probably indefinitely, but depending on, again, the company that wishes to take a license out, and depending on their, what their benchmarks, if they meet our requirements, yes, they could sell that, but there are so many functions that this disc does on a syringe. There's so many capabilities. It's a technology platform. There's so many things that's part of our 13 patents that we just really can't go into right now. But there's a long way to go. And again, it's like our patent attorney says, you have now control of what goes on a disc on a syringe for the next 20 years. What are you going to do with it? So,
Chris, you said that you had a patent on it. What's the patent for exactly?
the patents are for two types of syringes, disc syringes. Each one's are with second patents for embodiments. For the first patent, it's an extra patent protection that we have.
Everything on top of the needle?
The needle, right. Everything that sits on top in shape, size, form, hubs, depth, diameters. It's all legal stuff. Sir? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Have you looked at West Pharmaceuticals as a potential partner?
No, we haven't. We're new to the area, Massachusetts here, and we're exploring the possibilities. We hope that we can find a company, not necessarily a large pharmaceutical or a syringe manufacturer, but a company that has whereas and the know-how to exploit our patents. We're a very easygoing design company. Yeah.
So, you said it only costs a penny to manufacture.
It
Manufactured overseas?
It would most likely be manufactured
And if you're
offshore.
licensing it, do you have control over the manufacturing, or will they?
Well, the licensee or the company would make their own choice of colors, logos, etc. overseas.
Or could you manage the manufacturing chain to make sure that it's quality control for your own product?
Well, I'm sure that would all be in the term sheets.
It'd be great if you consider manufacturing locally.
I would really like to see a qualified manufacturer take this unique patent product here in St. Petersburg.
And now this is a hub for.
Well, we'd love to distribute it here nationwide and worldwide. This is an absolute great jumping off point for the Far East, Europe. This would be ideal. Yes? Yes, sir.
So your parent company, this is a product for them. Have you guys licensed any other products before? And how many products do you have in queue?
We have another product. It's a recreational product. It's called Cedine. That's also a patented product. It's for the recreation industry. It's for feeding fish underwater. It's a patented fish food blend that's in a tube that you squeeze underwater, and small fish come in and eat it.
Have you brought that to market yet?
We've had it marketed for approximately 5 years. We ran out of inventory, and that was all the experience we needed. We left it, we made a sizable margin of profit, and we just put it in our CMED Innovations, which is a patent holding company for us.
So will you do more products after this, or will you wait till you license?
We have
before you do that?
other medical products in the pipeline now that are ready for pre-patenting, a new retractable syringe, etc., and other things I just can't talk about right now. Yes?
I know your presentation is focused on diabetes, as you mentioned, you know it, but can this disc help other people? Like, I'm specifically thinking about women who are doing hormone injections and they can't see where they're going with it.
Absolutely. As you know, the pre-filled syringe market is really going very, very large in this country. We consume over 1 billion pre-filled syringes, and that market grows by 8-10% a year. As you know, Europe is now in the 3rd year of eliminating vials and ampules. They're going to all 100% pre-filled syringes because manufacturers realize in a vial there's at least 23% of waste that's not used for a syringe. So they're using pre-filled syringes. So with our disc, which makes it much easier for the patient to use in an in-home setting rather than have to go to a clinic, and with its RFID, which is trackable, you can track that syringe from manufacturer to disposal. It's not very good for the illegal drug use market. It's really good for the state and in the country as a whole, as an anti-lethal drug syringe. Yes, sir.
It seems like you would have a very easy way for the patient, the person, doctor, etc., potentially giving it to someone new to use it, to train them very simply how fast it is for them to use, easy to use, and eliminate a lot of time back and forth, training someone or overcoming their fear of using a needle on themselves.
Well, you're exactly right. That's really the goal was, my goal was, and my endocrinologist in our area was, what can we give a patient that they won't fear the needle so much and they'll stay on their insulin therapies and not drop out? He says, and this would be the very easiest thing, but unfortunately there is no syringe out there right now that is less threatening and difficult for a patient to inject themselves on a regular basis.
I think a lot of people don't understand how many people fear needle.
Well, a large pharmaceutical company and a large syringe company, I think they're called BD, they did a very large survey, and 85% of their respondents said they fear needles. 85%.
Another marketplace you might think about was, all kind of crazy here, but animals.
Right. Home veterinary use.
Not so much for the animal, but for the person that's giving the shot to the animal.
Again, that and immunization. Imagine them putting this disc on an immunization shot. A 4-year-old could give himself an immunization shot. All you need to do is just get it through the skin into the muscle area. You don't have to go 2 inches deep in the muscle. It goes at 90, the correct 90 degree. You inject, you discard, you're done. Anybody? Yes, sir.
First of all, great presentation. It was very clear on what problem you're trying to solve and your personal story and personal excellent job. My only thought and recommendation kind of going through this was, I think a couple of people picked up on it too, it's more attractive to an investor if somebody to pick it up if it were disposable. Like if I can reuse it forever, then I can't make a lot of money on that customer. My thought was if you had almost like a Band-Aid, like peel off the layer on the bottom, it reveals like a little alcohol, rubbing wipe almost to like sanitize the area where the injection is, and then printed right under the sticker says dispose or recycle, right? And then you can sell a pack of, then it's, if you're marking them up 10 cents per thing, it's 10 cents every single day per injection.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely. As just a single standalone disc, it would be very easy and economical. But again, this is America, and this is for companies who want to make profits. So most likely, Some companies that license this will not offer a disc alone, will offer it only as a syringe.
Can this be billed as a medical device?
Pardon?
Can this be billed as a medical device?
Yes, yes, your insurance would pay for it. Yes?
So, Chris, what as a community can we do to help you and Confidisc?
As a community, I would like to see this community somehow approach us to work with a large manufacturer, syringe company, in partnership even possibly through either a license agreement and build this and sell this in St. Pete. We would really like to stay in St. Pete, and we would really like to stay in Florida if at all possible. We're from Massachusetts, but we like St. Pete and we like Florida.
Thank you very much. Before you leave, please, how about if we do two things? One is, let's give another round of applause to the two presenters. Sean whispered to me sarcastically, I'm kind of the guest, the guest organizer. I'm Richard Wood. I'm the guest because I live and work here, and I also have a wife, and I live and work in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, that's where it's kind of different, but that's what I do. And the point there is, up in Kansas City is the Kaufman Foundation that founded this, 1 million cups. And first of all, kudos to all of you folks and all of us. This is a year and a half in St. Petersburg that we've been going with 1 million cups. It's hard to believe. So please see any of us if you'd like to get in the process to queue about presenting. Secondly, encourage your friends and professional associates. We usually have about 20% that are newbies every week. And just a closing comment, just personal almost. Up in Kansas City especially, I've been mentoring, and then down here and on some of these committees up there, and it's interesting, there's been kind of a little shift. The shift was an awful lot of people initially were like, I need money, what do I have to do? I need some money, you know? And now the shift is kind of going two ways. One is, what can I do to sell? So the whole sales thing, matter of fact, last week there was a huge conversation about it. It sounds so simple, but it's like people were skipping the selling process, or salespeople, the value and all that, you know? In other words, sell to grow kind of thing. And secondly, this kind of affected me personally. I was always involved with franchising, whatever. The whole idea of licensing and franchising or distributorships, that old school stuff, really seems to be coming back in. How can I scale this baby and roll it out? And there's a lot of conversation going on in those two categories, selling and then the whole scalability of the franchising, etc. So hope you have a nice day, and please come back and bring your friends, and thank you.